Good morning, students. Today's topic is cooperative societies. So, what is the meaning of cooperative societies? A cooperative organization or society is an association of persons, usually of limited means, who have voluntarily joined together to achieve a common and through the formation of a democratically controlled organization, making equitable distribution to the capital required and accepting a fair share of risk and benefits of the undertaking. So, cooperative societies, it is compulsory to get these societies registered under Cooperative Societies Act 1912 or under the State Cooperatives Act. So, these societies are of various types like consumer corporations, producer corporations, cooperative farming societies, and marketing cooperatives. So, what are the features of cooperative societies? First one is voluntary membership. So, membership of cooperative society is a voluntary. No individual can be compelled to be a member of the society. Members can also leave the society at any time after giving a prior notice. Under cooperative societies, no member can transfer his share to another person. He can leave the society, and on leaving the society, he can withdraw his share. Second one is legal status. No association of member can use the word cooperative with its name if that organization is not registered. So it is compulsory for a cooperative society to get himself registered under Cooperative Societies Act 1912. Third one is limited liability. Under cooperative societies, the liability of its member is limited to their shares or to the guarantee given by them. Next one is control. So controlling job is performed in a democratic way under cooperative societies. Annual general meeting of cooperative society is held every year, in which managing committee is elected, which manages affairs of cooperative society. Next one is service motive. The main motive of these societies is to render services to its member. So its main motive is to provide services is to its a member rather than earning profits. Next one is equality of voting rights. A cooperative society is based on the principle of one man, one vote. A member has only one vote, irrespective of the amount of share purchased by him. Next one is disposal of surplus. Another important characteristic of cooperative organization is that its profit or surplus is utilized by different way. 1/4 of the amount of profit earned by the society is transferred to the general reserve. Under cooperative societies, usually the dividend is given on a fixed rate on amount of capital invested by the members, and the society can also do some sort of expenses for the benefit of societies, and those benefits or expenses should not exceed 10% of the amount of surplus. Next one is cash trading. In a cooperative organization, cash and carry system is a universal feature. In the absence of adequate capital, grant of credit is not possible. Cash sales are also avoid risk of loss due to bad debts. But there is no legal restriction that these societies cannot sell things on credit. Next one is arrangement of finance. The basic source of finance for this society is the amount contributed by its member, and these societies also take loans from government, or government grants are the main source of finance for these societies. And the last one is government control. Though these societies are voluntary association, yet the government exercise control from time to time by checking the accounts of these organizations. So these were the features or characteristics of cooperative societies. Next one is formation or registration of cooperative societies. So the registration of cooperative society is compulsory. These societies has to get themselves registered with Cooperative Societies Act 1912 or under any state cooperative act. Those who want to establish a cooperative societies have to submit an application to the concerned registrar, and under that application form the kind of information required is as follows. Firstly, they have to give the name of the society. Second one is the objective for which the society is created, and the third one is detail of share capital of the society, and the fourth one is rights, duties and responsibilities of the members of the societies, and the way in which a person can become its member is also provided. Name and address of all the member is also given in the form, and the rules or regulations of working of the cooperative society is also mentioned. So next is difference between cooperative society and partnership. First one is act. So cooperative society is registered under Cooperative Societies Act 1912 or any other state cooperative societies act, whereas partnership is registered under Partnership Act 1932. Second one is registration. The registration of cooperative society is compulsory, whereas the registration of partnership is not compulsory. But if a partnership firm is registered, then it can enjoy certain kinds of benefits. Third one is mutual profits. Apart from the members, non-members also gets benefit from the cooperative societies, whereas the benefit is confined to the partners only under partnership firm. And the next one is objective. The main objective of cooperative society is to provide services to its member, whereas the purpose of partnership is to do business activities. Next one is number of members. To form a cooperative society, minimum 10 adults are required, whereas the maximum number of members in a cooperative society will not exceed 100 in any case, whereas to form a partnership firm, minimum 2 persons are required, whereas maximum persons under a partnership firm cannot exceed 50. And the next topic is types of cooperative societies. So on the basis of nature of work, cooperative societies can be divided into many categories like consumer cooperatives, producer cooperatives, marketing cooperatives, farming cooperatives and housing cooperative societies. So first one is consumer cooperatives. These businesses are owned and governed by consumers of a particular area for their mutual benefits. Their view is to provide daily necessary products at optimum prices. Rather than earning a profit, their aim is to provide services to the consumer. So these societies purchase goods in bulk from the producers or wholesaler and then sold these products at cheaper rates to its members. So the next one is producers cooperative societies. These societies are created to protect the interest of small producers who face difficulties in attaining material and selling of goods. The main objective of these societies is to provide material and help the producers in selling their goods. The function performed by these societies are assisting members in purchasing of raw material and helping them while selling the products. Next one is cooperative marketing societies. These are created by small producers and artisans who face difficulties in selling their products at reasonable prices. So the objective of creating these societies is to provide regular marketing to its member and provide relief to the members from the exploitation of the middleman. So these societies collect goods from the members and then sell those goods at reasonable prices to the consumer. So taking care of malpractices during trade deals, like checking fraud in account and using false weight. Next one is cooperative credit societies. These societies are created by those persons who have limited financial resources. The objective to create these societies is to help the member feel free from the clutches of money lenders, or to encourage the habit of saving among the members. So these societies perform the function of accepting deposit from its members and then provide loans to the members at reasonable rate of interest and on easy terms and conditions. Next one is consumer housing societies. To help people with limited income to construct houses at reasonable cost, these societies are established. Their aim is to solve the housing problem of the members. They construct the houses and give the option to the members to pay in installment to purchase the house. In some cases, these societies provide plots to its members, and the member himself can construct the building on that plot. The basic functions performed by these societies are purchasing and developing the land, constructing and allotting houses to the members, and allotting plots in case no house can be given. The next topic is merits of cooperative organizations. First one is easy formation. A cooperative society is a voluntary association and may be formed with a minimum of 10 adult members. So its registration is very simple and can be done without much legal formalities. Second one is limited liability. The liability of members of cooperative society is limited to the amount of shares or contribution made by them. Next one is stability. Cooperative society has a separate legal existence. It is not affected by the death or insolvency of its member, so it has a stable life. Next one is democratic management. A cooperative society is managed in a democratic manner. It is based on the principle of one man, one vote. All the members have equal rights and can have a voice in its management. Next one is lesser operational expenses. Some of the expenses of management are saved by the voluntary services rendered by the members. They take active interest in the working of the society. So the society is not required to spend large amount on managerial personnel. Next one is tax advantage. The incomes earned by these societies are exempted from income tax. So the government provide tax advantage to these societies. Next one is state patronage. The government provide every kind of support to these societies, like providing loans at lower rate of interest or giving them grants, because the aim of these societies is to develop the weaker sections of the society. Next one is supply of goods at cheaper rates. These societies purchase in bulk quantity directly from the producer or the wholesaler. So these societies get the economies of large scale or get the product at cheaper rate. So these societies helps their members by providing them necessary goods at lower prices. Check on other businesses. These societies help other businesses doing similar kind of activities have to keep in mind the prices charged by these societies, so they cannot exploit the consumer by charging more prices from the customer. So these societies help in that way also. And the last one is economic decentralization. So cooperative societies have prevented the concentration of country's wealth in the hands of few individuals. Earlier, the businessman tries to earn more profits by exploiting customer by charging them high prices and amassed wealth, but now this tendency has almost disappeared. And the next topic is limitations of cooperative organizations. First one is lack of capital. Cooperative societies have limited membership and are promoted by the weaker sections of the society, and also the membership fees collected by these societies is very low. So the funds available with the cooperative societies are limited. So if the cooperative society wants to expand their business activities, they cannot expand their activities beyond a particular level because of the limited resources. Second one is incompetent management. A cooperative society generally suffers on account of inefficient management due to limited financial resources. It is generally not in a position to employ trained professional managerial personnel. So it has to depend on its own members who generally lack in skill and expertise. Next one is cash trading. As we know, the members of cooperative societies are generally belong to poor sections. So these peoples are need of credit facilities, but these societies do only cash transactions or cash trading, whereas private enterprise provides them credit facilities. Although the cooperative societies provide goods at cheaper rates, but due to lack of credit facilities, these members are compelled to move to private enterprise for meeting their daily requirements. Next one is political interference. Daily operations of cooperative societies are subject to government rules and regulations. Regular bookkeeping, auditing, and inspection of books by the government officials are the mandatory aspect of the organization. The reports have to be submitted to the registrar. So all these legal formalities take a lot of time and limits inefficiency. Next one is lack of motivations. Under cooperative societies, members lack motivation to put in their wholehearted effort for the success of the enterprise. It is because there is a very little link between efforts and reward, because these societies distribute their surplus equitably among all the members and not based on the efforts of the members. So these members lack motivation. Next one is lack of public confidence. A cooperative society generally does not enjoy much public confidence due to both the excessive state regulation and the dishonest and political conduct of the society's office bearer. And the second last is lack of secrecy. So the affairs of a cooperative society are openly discussed in the meeting. So the members can independently audit the books and records. Due to lack of secrecy in the business affairs, a number of loopholes are created within the organization. So due to the lack of secrecy, people hesitate to work in cooperative societies. And the last one is mutual disputes. As we know, the members of cooperative society come from different walks of life. Often their views on important issues may differ from each other, leading to strong resentment and disharmony among them. Some ambitious members also want to control the functions of the organizations. As a result, there are continuous quarrel among the members, which affect the enterprise or cooperative society in a negative way. Instead of progressing, the enterprise starts declining. So these were the limitations of cooperative organizations.